SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
No one should have to decide if they can afford life-saving care. Expanding Medicaid would bring billions in federal funding back to our state. It helps stabilize rural hospitals providing critical care. Text BETTER to 46839.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar.
It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. Steve Azar reminding you, thank you by the way for listening. I really appreciate this. It means the world. I'm not just kidding. I love doing this, especially today's guest. I think it's episode number 9 over my time over this into my 8th year. So he's been on practically every year, and it was time to catch up. Before we do that, Superior Catfish, that's what you want on your plate. You can go to store.superiorcatfish.com and have it delivered to your house, but go to superiorcatfish.com, and visit Mississippi.org, celebrating the arts like no other. Plan a road trip with your loved ones and celebrate your Mississippi. The world's coming, I'm telling you. All right, today's guest has survived many weather tests, I can tell you, even down here in the hot Delta. But his career as a football star and mountain climber, all 7 summits to be exact, completed. Put a check mark on it. Also, won't be long, he'll be back to the season in some of this Mississippi Delta heat, and we'll talk about that in just a couple. From a standout and prolific college football career at the University of Washington, where he is enshrined in their Hall of Fame, to his NFL career catching the rock from some of the NFL's best QBs down here in New Orleans, then eventually ended up with the Oakland Raiders at the time. I know things keep switching. Oakland, this, Las Vegas Raiders. But he had a heck of an NFL career. That set the stage for the next feats in life, climbing all 7 summits, which he did accomplish. In doing so, the documentary Searching for the Summit chronicles his courageous journey by NFL Films 360, which would go on to win an Emmy. He has become a staple at the and family, to be honest with you, at our Delta Soul Celebrity Golf and Charity event. I actually met him many years ago through my brother-in-law, who he was happened to be playing golf the other day with. But while my brother-in-law was at Tulane Med School, and my brother and all those guys up there, that's when he was playing ball, and got to meet him a long time ago. But who would think that we'd have ever become such good friends? And he would be helping us raise money because he's a giver, a warrior. Been at the very bottom mentally. It's well documented of his football career after those days, and fought his way out to the top of the mountain like he knows how to do. He's also got a very cool Instagram. I love celebrating that, hiking or climbing. He's doing something active. You got to check it out. I want to talk also about the next big mountain he's going to climb in Nepal. And today, step by step, dive deep into his newsletter that he's sending out, full of motivation to get off the couch and get to it, especially the one he sent with 10 steps to train your mind like an athlete. No one knows it better than my guest today, Mark Pattison.
How we doing?
How'd I do there?
You know what? You should just interview yourself about me, and I should just sit back and listen to it. You know what? I think that'd be make a better interview.
No, it will not. You're a great interviewer. I've been on your show quite a few times. I love being on that side of it, and this side I have to prepare more. But I love preparing for this. First, I got to ask you this: why are you gonna climb another mountain when you already did them all?
Well, when you start talking about, when you break that down, I haven't done them all. right? And to me, it's like for you talking about a song, you've had hits, you've this one of your, it's not your last one, but another one of your hits that's come along, and now is the state of Mississippi state song.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 Mississippi, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Great.
there's always another mountain. There's always another challenge. There's always another opportunity for me to get better. And so until I can't do what I love to do and goal set and do those on micro goals, which then lead to something much bigger, then we'll have that conversation. This mountain in Nepal is called Ama Dablam. It's wicked. It's inverted. It's upside down. You're in the ice. You're in the snow. You're high. It's very dangerous. They call it the Matterhorn of the Kumbh Valley. And when you land in, like, you're going to go climb Everest, Everest is at the kind of the end of this cul-de-sac, this 40-mile cul-de-sac, and it's lined with these insane big-ass peaks all the way up, and you're looking at them. And the one, to me, the crown jewel besides Everest is Ama Dablam. And so I've always had like a tickle in my throat about this is a mountain I want to get after. And I've got all the skill set. I've been, actually did do the Matterhorn. I did the Eiger this last year. I've been on Mount Blanc. I've done these other ones that are more on the rock side. Mm-hmm. Although this is, combines both rock and ice. But I feel like I've got a lot of those skills now to go actually take that thing on.
Okay, obviously in the Mississippi Delta, you've seen our mountains, right? We got a lot of them over here. Yeah. So I'm ignorant when it comes to mountains. So this is not one of the 7 summits?
It's not one of the 7 summits. So
okay.
So the 7 summits are, specifically, or the 7 highest peaks on the 7 different continents, right? So I've been to every continent. The one continent that most people haven't been to, which is a bizarre experience because it's mainly made up of penguins, is Antarctica, right? And so Antarctica has its own thing. But when you talk about as a continent, Asia, the tallest mountain in Asia is Mount Everest, right? So This would just be another mountain in that whole, mountain range of not the tallest, but just, another, I've already done the 7. So now it's just like, okay, where do you go from here? And to me, it's just like,
you stop is what you do. I just don't, you play more golf. I mean, what are you doing? You just can't stop, can you?
I can't stop, and to me, it's a life of discipline, and how you do something is how you do everything. And so from the moment I wake up every morning after I brush my teeth, I'm out the door every single flipping morning, 7 days a week. And I'm fortunate to live here in Sun Valley. We're at 6,000 feet. You're at nothing. And
thank you. I appreciate that.
I can get up and I can work out in altitude. And I can get vertical on a regular basis.
We can also breathe down here. I just want you to know that. Even in our humidity, we can breathe. Just everybody in Mississippi, can we breathe? We can breathe. Go ahead. All right.
It's funny because the NFL holds this. They give former players the opportunity to go in 3 different spots. I think one's in New York, one's in Minnesota, and one's in LA, down in Newport Beach. And you can go there and you can get a 2-day physical, right? Think about that. Usually going for 1 hour and that's it. This is 2 days, 8 hours a day. And the last thing that they have you do is do one of these treadmill tests, right? Where they hook you up like the $6 million man and you run and they tilt it as high as it will go, which is number 7. And they crank it as fast as that thing will actually go. And because I live at altitude and because I train every day, I set the record for having the lowest heart rate with the lowest, exerting. Like I was having a conversation like I was having it with you when I was running it, and these people are like floored and they're like, like, how do you do this? And I was just like, I do this every day. This isn't a big deal. So most of the guys that show up don't do that, right? They don't live at altitude. They don't train.
And they don't do their Instagram posts like you do. That's what I didn't get to your name before. So everybody's Mark Pattison. You got to check out his Instagram because he's going to get you tired and also get you off the couch. And we're going to talk about all those things in the next thing. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. But it's I have a sense of pride about that, right? Because it's cool. I'm competitive. I know you're competitive too, and I wanna win. I want to be up at the top, and it's always kind of how I've driven. And I'll tell you what, by having this kind of pattern of success, by doing things in a certain system of a method to my madness, has led to these, you mentioned at the beginning, between the NFL, between college, between climbing mountains, and between the Emmy, and between Sports Illustrated and taking them to number one. I found this pattern of success when it all starts with these little micro steps that I take every single day of the year, which helps me then fulfill where I'm trying to go in the bigger picture.
Mark Pattison, my guest. We're going to dig deep into his newsletter that I get to get every week. And I'm grateful for it because it gets me. If I'm moving slow, I'm not moving slow after that. And sometimes I'll text him and say, I'm going. I'm on step 5 already. Mark Pattison is my guest. Visit Mississippi.org is waiting to be. Well, we're waiting for guests to come visit our beautiful Mississippi. Please check it out. Plan a road trip with your family. And Superior Catfish. There's catfish and there's Superior Catfish. Mark can have it delivered to his house at store.superiorcatfish.com. I'm Steve Azar.
Highway 61. Highway 61.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
Rolling into a Mississippi Minute. I got my pal, Hall of Famer for Washington Huskies, roamed the football field back in his day like no other at that wide receiver position, played for the Saints, played for the Raiders, and somehow we became fast friends over the last number of years as he contributes his time to our Delta Soul Celebrity Golf and Charity event for our foundation every year. A dear friend of my brother-in-law, Brian's. They all went to college together back in the day at Washington. My brother-in-law was a tennis player there. They ended up in New Orleans at the same time, and that's when we met, but never became great friends until the last number of years. Speaking of great friends, there in Macon, Mississippi. Go to superiorcatfish.com. I mean, come on. Any friend of mine is a friend of yours, and when catfish is made somewhere else beyond Mississippi, it doesn't make any sense. Produced right here. And visit Mississippi.org. Man, oh man. Grateful to have my state, my song, One Mississippi, as our state song. Let me get that right. Our state song. Mark brought it up earlier. He knows how grateful I am for that. Love running around the state singing with all the children. When you know every word, you blow my mind out there, and I'm going to continue to keep coming. Means the world. Mark, I got this email and I was feeling a little lethargic, I got to tell you, but I'd already worked out, but it was a lethargic workout. So 10 steps to train your mind like an athlete. And it's almost like I feel like you knew I was lethargic and you just sent that just to me on purpose. But let's talk about it. I want to go step by step. Before we start, what got you to do this?
You're talking about the newsletter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think I've been asked for a number of years because of these things I've been able to do to write a book. And so I can honestly tell you, because I'm not a writer, I'm not gifted that way, is that it's the hardest thing I've ever done. So I teamed up with another book publishing company. And what we decided to do is have this kind of multi-pronged strategy, which is, while I'm working on the book, which again, I've been at this for 10 months. I've now finished the book in terms of edit. Now we're going through, edit 2, 3, 4. We've come up with the cover. We've got some really cool things going on, but there are so many golden nuggets that are within this journey that I've taken from these amazing people I've been able to hang out with, not only professional athletes. You mentioned about the great quarterbacks down in New Orleans when I used to be here. Archie Manning used to call all of our games. So I got to know Arch. Bobby Hebert was our quarterback at the time. And I've gotten to know these amazing guys. Last year I was hanging out with Mark Rippon at your event. Yep. Mark and I go way back to high school.
Your old arch rival.
He is an arch rival, but he's a great guy, and just these all these golden nuggets that I've been able to learn and extract from all these different people that are out there. What that all meant is while I'm writing the book and I'm doing the edits and sequencing how this is all going to go, there were all these things, all these memories that I've been taught from different people that I said, I think it'd be worthy to put these things down on paper. And what I'll try to do is create enough traction where I can build up a newsletter so that when I'm finished with the book, I can go back and maybe, and I'm hoping, at the time I was hoping for this, that people like you, would actually find value in some of the things that are coming out of my mouth and some of the things that I've learned from other people, that you would actually want to sit there and you want to read it, and maybe you get motivated by it, so that when the book comes out, that might give you more interest to actually go. And now that thousands and thousands and thousands of people on my subscriber list from this newsletter, I now have an automatic marketing.
Yeah, you got your audience already ready
That's
to
right.
crank, and your grassroots has started, and that's what it's like. It's like going out and playing gigs, and you spread that. The fans start coming, the people start coming, and you build that up. And by the time you finally have an album out, all those from the past that were there in the beginning, they're all in. And then they're your cheerleaders, they're your disciples. So,
Yeah.
so.
By the way, that is a great analogy, and I didn't even think about that until you just said that, and it's so obvious now. But the way that you've done that, and you've built up your audience, and you do these music videos, like you said, going back to 123 Mississippi, and you have these beautiful kids that are sitting out there, and they're in the background, and they're singing with you, and you're with your guitar. It is just amazing to see. But you built up that audience over time that now you've created some stickiness that I want to go watch what you're up to next.
I love that word, stickiness. Exactly. I like disciple, but that's okay. But all right, wait a minute. So when's the book coming out? What's the name of it?
The name of the book is Finding Your Summit. That's one title that we're playing around with. And then as a subtitle is just 10 More Steps.
I like both of them. You could do it in parentheses, whatever. But Finding Your Summit, sort of your brand. I mean, that was your Emmy.
That was,
You know what I mean? So I don't know if you venture away from that when it's worked already.
I think, when you start talking about finding your summit, that in the case of the movie, we're searching for the summit, but finding your summit, it's so metaphorical because
searching for something. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's the same, more or less the same thing, right?
Right.
So it's so metaphorical to everybody because we're all out looking for, what is going to fulfill our purpose, as we go from day to day, and what we want to do and how we want to go about through that. And we all go through peaks and we all go through valleys, and I've had a whole lot of valleys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks
we all have. We all, yeah.
That's my point, right? It's just like we all have been there. We've all, between relationships and career things and, from music to sports to whatever, when my NFL career ended and I went off that cliff, it was tough. It was tough sledding because now I'm 30 years old with no skills other than to catch a football, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you do and how do you pivot? And so much about that. And so when you start talking about the newsletter and just 10 more steps, and what I found, and this really came when, I was at Camp 4, I hadn't eaten in 3 days. I just come out of a cyclone and I hadn't, I came out of the tent and now I go snowblind in my left eye. And I'm just at my worst when my best is required. Not at my best when my best is required, but my best required, right? John Wooden thing. And and the net was, I just kept saying to myself, just get to that rock, just get over to that other, outcropping, just 10 more steps. And then it's set. And then I go, okay, I got 10 more. And that to me, when it really broke down and we're thinking about life, that's so much about life when things are going upside down, going through a divorce. Like, how can this happen in relationship, in my marriage and the kids and this, and rather than have this big snowball come down on me, I broke it down to just, what do I just need to do to get to the front door? And then from front door, how do I get in that car? And from the car, and so by really breaking it down, it was just really that 10 steps more to get me to that next marker that I need.
Not a lot of difference as far as the mental aspects are concerned when it comes to songwriters. I mean, there's a vulnerability that has to be at some point. It just has to be shared with everybody. You can't be afraid to do it, and you can't be afraid to tell what's going on and what got you there. And sometimes you have to go as low as you can possibly go And when you're on the way out of that place and you're digging your way out or whatever, fighting your way out, whatever it is, climbing, just whatever it, clawing your way out, it's that place when you get out that you see what you went through, this journey. And that's where all the good stuff comes from. That's where all the magic comes from. That's when you start writing about stuff people can relate to, because so many people go through it every day, right?
That's why I love you, is because your songs, and I've told you this before, and I'll tell you this again just to remind you, that one of my selling songs to help motivate me and keep going and just puts me in this kind of melodic state because of the vulnerability that you were just talking about and the way that you were able to articulate that and sing it. And then the melody is so beautiful, is the Sunshine, right?
Yeah.
And
that moved me, by the way. I loved it when you told me that.
And right. And it's true, because, what I needed in my life was some sunshine, and I needed to go, to that shining object when all the darkness was around me. Right.
Interesting that moody song and that ballad put you in a spirit that was the opposite of that and gave you energy. It's really interesting. That song has done so much for my career, but I love hearing that. Let's get on the other side of the break. Mark Pattison is my guest. Mark, to get on your newsletter, what do folks have to do?
You have to go on to LinkedIn and find myself there, and you can sign up. Actually, where you can sign up is on my website, markpattisonnfl.com.
There you go. Mark, that's easier.
Down and it says sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah, markpattisonnfl.com. Do that, because the other part's complicated. Superior Catfish, that's not complicated. Why are you going to get it from somewhere that's not made in Mississippi? Go to superiorcatfish.com. Visit Mississippi.org. Man is your music and culture ambassador of this wonderful state. I can't wait to have Mark back on Mississippi Soul. We'll be right back.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
There's a ton of content from SuperTalk Mississippi on our new YouTube channel. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi on YouTube or go to supertalk.fm/YouTube. Be sure and subscribe for free to get the latest scoop on what's happening in Mississippi news, politics, sports, and the good things happening here in the state. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Flying down that levee road, trying to see how fast you go.
Today, we hadn't even gone over anything I wanted to go over, so that means he has to come back. See, this is the beauty of when friends get on the horn and in front of you guys. I know what you're thinking. Steve, you hadn't even talked about one of the steps yet. That Mark Pattison's newsletter. Go to markpattisonnfl.com, sign up, get ready to get motivated. And if you're in a funk, you're getting out of the funk, because Mark's going to get you out of there. Speaking of anything that you want to have on your plate that's delicious, Superior Catfish, please go to superiorcatfish.com, because there's catfish and there's Superior Catfish. And
hey, you know what, Steve?
Yeah, what you want?
I just got to just like tap into what you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at Camp 4, 26,500 feet, it's minus 30. I hadn't eaten in 3 days. I'm blind in one eye. The last thing I want to do is climb up to the top of the mountain, Mount Everest, 29,302 feet. You know what I wish I had in my tent?
Some Superior Catfish.
Superior Catfish.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know what? If my guy Brent hears you from Superior Catfish, you're going to have a box delivered to to your home soon. So get ready. Sun Valley.
26,500 feet.
It makes it to Sun Valley, I can promise you. And visit Mississippi.org. Mark knows everything that we love so and cherish in our hearts down here, raising money for the arts for kids. And he's a big part of that for our foundation down here every June. And he has mattered big time, and he's become family. And so now we're going to talk about this newsletter, Mark Pattison, NFL.com. Sign up at the bottom or wherever you go for the newsletter. 10 steps to train your mind like an athlete. This show, we're going to have to do a part 10, but part 2 for this show, and we'll set that up afterwards. But let's start with create a pregame routine.
Yep.
All right, come on.
Well, part of the pregame routine, so as I said, I train every day here in town. So, what does that mean to me? And this all sounds trivial, but, seconds become minutes become hours. And the next thing you know, oh my God, where did the day go? How could that get away from me? Right. So before I even walk out the door, right? So I get up every single morning at 5:45 on the nose. It's a lot harder during the wintertime because it's cold. I'm talking about 0 degrees here in Sun Valley, Idaho. That's one, and it's pitch black, right? So what I do is I go downstairs and I lay out my outfit, my big puffy jacket, whatever I'm going to wear when I go out the door, that is ready to go. So I'm not trying to look around, opening drawers. I don't wake up everybody in the house. Number 2 is I go get my water bowl. It's filled. It's in the downstairs refrigerator. It's ready there. It's ready to go. Number 3 is I use Peloton, and there's an outdoor thing where I hit that. So I've got this routine where before I even go out the door, I've already got these things that I need as part of my toolkit to make sure that I'm fully prepared. So I'm not out on the road and like, oh my God, why did my headlamp just go out? I have it fully charged. It's ready to go. I click it and I'm gone for 45 minutes.
It takes extreme discipline to do that, right?
It is. It does take a lot of discipline to do that, right? But, it's just like at the end of the day, I know I go back to, there's a pattern of success, and it's from the pattern of the little micro things, the 10 steps, just 10 more steps that I do every single morning with the consistency and being flipping relentless, right? You want to win at something, you got to be relentless. And I can tell you there are so many, Steve, I want you to hear this because this is so important, I think, for other people to hear. I am honestly one of the most ordinary guys that you have ever met. I've been able to do extraordinary things, but I'm an ordinary guy. And what separates me between myself and all these other people in college football, in the NFL, climbing these mountains, taking that side of number 1, all this stuff is the same pattern of success, which is I am relentless. And there are very few that outwork me, right?
No, you just said it, the word outwork. It's in our business. The people that outwork the other, that's who gets the opportunity. Now, it doesn't always show up in the perfect way, but you do. When opportunity comes knocking and you're that prepared, there's a victory every time.
Yeah, and saying it slightly different, and I think this is really what like everything you're talking about, my pregame routine, preparation. When preparation meets opportunity, then put yourself in a position to succeed at what you do. But just because, like way back when, going back to my, when I was a scrawny little kid and I came out of high school with Brian Carey, and now, we're in college, and I didn't understand how it all worked, and I didn't understand what like big time training and big time football. I had no clue, how to prepare myself. So it took me a number of years. But what I figured out early in the game is that if I follow this certain routine, this pyramid of success, of these 25 different building blocks that I had to go through, that I put myself again in a position of success to maybe get on the field someday and maybe play. And as it all played out, that's exactly what happened. It doesn't guarantee success, and it doesn't guarantee you're going to play. But I knew I put myself in the best position to actually succeed and be out there. And it turned out that way. We were playing Michigan, and the first game I got to start, we were playing Michigan, and the way that the game went back and forth, we came down by 14 in the fourth quarter, and with 8 seconds to go in the final parts of the game, the quarterback decides to throw an audible to me in the back of the end zone. I reach up and jump over this guy, and I score a touchdown. We win the game, right? And now I'm on.
Did they get mossed? They got mossed before it existed.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was incredible. Yeah. And now
love it.
Sports Illustrated happened to be there. And now I'm on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It's just like, it's just weird how, but if I had quit along the way, and I would have never,
that wasn't going to happen.
Through the process. It's easy to look now, when you're, the Sports Illustrated stuff, but they were a lot of dark times. And you talked about that earlier about you have to go through the valleys that ultimately reach a peak. And maybe my peak wouldn't have been playing. Maybe my peak wasn't, destined to catch the ball. I don't know. But at least I put myself in that position for the quarterback to have confidence to go to me, and then end up winning the game.
Just love it. I'm so excited right now. All right, number 2, strengthen your focus muscle. I love this. This caught my attention because I was going, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean,
I know focus, but I wanted to understand how deep you went into this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, as always, where your focus goes, your energy always follows. I mean, think about that, right? So how do you feel? Do you feel like you want to go work out? Well, you said that you worked out this morning or whatever, but maybe you weren't as motivated. Well, it's because your energy was sending you something. So your focus was my focus is that I'm not really there, but I'm going to go do it just because. So your energy followed, and you had a mediocre workout, right?
Right.
And so,
you're right.
So the point being is that you got to really hyper focus on what you're ultimately trying to achieve. And believe me, I don't wake up every day myself all pumped up and jumping out the door, but I know that if I commit to the process and focus just on that, feet on floor, put my feet on the floor, get out the door, then I'm one step closer to my goal of trying to achieve what I need. And then all these micro things that you build up over time, it makes you more strong and resilient, and then that feeds onto strong mental strength, which is right. Go ahead.
I know. I love how you say start small, turn off notifications, set time blocks, and get comfortable doing deep work. What's the deep work?
Yeah, I think deep work for me, and everybody has a different way of doing this, and it'd be interesting to hear what your method, your madness is, but. I process a lot of information, and because I am in the mountains every day and I'm out, in the dark, cold part just by myself, I don't see anybody else out there. I might see some bears or moose or something like that, but that's it. But it gives me an opportunity for my mind to work on what's going on during the day. What are those things that are bothering me? Really get centered, and you'll hear a lot of people talk as if they're, like this is meditation and doing yoga and things like that. My meditation, my yoga is by being out. And many times, especially when I'm on these bigger expeditions, there is no Wi-Fi, there is no internet, and you're tethered, 50 feet between each climber because we're on ropes going up these dangerous peaks. And so you have just all this time to think, all this time to process and try to really work out problems. And within that, I believe there's great clarity. When you can still your mind down, you don't have your phone ringing every second and doing things like that. So that's really been a benefit to me, and especially when I was going through my transition between being married for 24 years and being with her for 30 to being the single guy, which wasn't fun, but I was able to ultimately process all that and work through that in a positive way. And now we're on great terms, and it's all good.
SuperiorCatfish.com. Always good. Visit Mississippi.org. Always ready for you. My guest is Mark Pattison. We'll be right back.
'Cause like the dawn, you push it all the way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
There's a ton of content from SuperTalk Mississippi on our new YouTube channel. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi on YouTube or go to supertalk.fm/YouTube. Be sure and subscribe for free to get the latest scoop on what's happening in Mississippi news, politics, sports, and the good things happening here in the state.
Looking for
I'm going to tell you something. I'm relaxed right now, but my guest today, Mark Pattison, is going to get me off the mental couch. I can promise you that. Superior Catfish is going to be what's on your plate. Please go to superiorcatfish.com because there's catfish and there's superior catfish made here in Macon, Mississippi. Come on. And visit Mississippi.org. Man, I love those folks over there, how they want folks and implore folks to come to they employ a lot of people, implore folks to come to our Mississippi from all parts of the world. And when they do that, you know what happens? They see our beautiful hospitality, all our wonderful characters we have, all our people, the way we live, and they don't ever want to leave. And if they leave, they want to come back and visit. So thank you all for being Mississippians. Today, my guest has spent a lot of time on Mississippi soil, that's for sure. He'll be back here in June. Mark Pattison. Go to markpattisonnfl.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We're only at number 3, which is why he has to come back again. I just love that. I've slow walked him today. You talk about this deep focus and all that. I know that compared to you and me, I'm in the shallow end, so my deep is about 3 foot. So anyway, compared to what you do, I mean, I love it. You're so disciplined in the fact of your regime that your regime starts before you go to bed. So you got things already lined up and planned like you're laying clothes out. But it's more than that. And then you're prepared for the next day when you get up. Everything is sitting there waiting on you rather than you going and fumbling through things. I think that's already the first step that you've whipped. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where, if you want to have, I think that's where great growth comes from, right? And you just talked about, and I know you're joking around, but you're on the shallow end. I don't believe that, because you have these songs that you've come up with where you've been out mowing the grass and you come up with Waiting on Joe or whatever, that, we all have our different way that we process things. It could be somebody swimming, or it could be out taking a power walk, or you do yoga or whatever you do to get in that state of mind where you can actually come up and be creative enough to have a kind of career like you do. It's amazing. It blows my mind. I wish I could do it, honestly. But, it's just about the process. And so when we're talking about being uncomfortable, I think for me at least, and maybe or maybe not for you, is again, that vulnerable state of being able to share with people without fearing that you're going to be rejected. And that's like the emotional side of it. And then the physical side is, it was not fun climbing Mount Everest. Okay. I was there 2 months sleeping on ice and rock at 17,500 feet. I was coming off the mountain, I'm up there. I've made the summit. I'm sitting up there, and it turns out that I was the last guy that was up there and the last guy that walked off. And now I'm coming down. I'm half blind. Again, I've been at this for 12 hours straight, and I still had another 8 to go. And I didn't know how that was all going to happen. My Sherpa leaves me. I run out of oxygen. And so I literally had 10 toes on the side of that mountain, and I'm looking at my own mortality, and I'm just like, this is the point in time where if I just say I want 5 minutes of rest and just lean back, I'm never going to wake up, right?
Oh, wow.
So you're
oh my God.
And I had never, I've been through some pretty uncomfortable moments and all these different athletic things I've done, in challenging time through my ultimate separation divorce, but when you're talking about death, I mean, like, this is real. I'm sitting here by myself, the last guy on Mount Everest, and I don't know how in the hell I'm going to get off this thing.
And people, you'd already seen someone pass away on the mountain, right?
My tent mate from 2019, I stepped over up on the Hillary Step, which is near the top. Mm-hmm. And so he died. He raised his hand. This is, again, back in 2019. Now we're talking me being up there in 2021. So yeah. 2-year period, he hadn't moved, right? He's still just laying there along with other guys. And,
oh my gosh.
And another guy 6 feet away from my tent, right? When I down at Camp 4, 26,500 feet, just laying there.
God.
He had died 12 days earlier. right? So you're looking death straight in the eye. And now, of all times, because I've always been the resilient one, I always keep going. And now I'm sitting there going, I don't know if I'm next. And so that's the ultimate uncomfortable. Right.
All right, look, we've only gotten to 10 steps. We've gotten to 3 of the 10 steps. When we get off the horn, we're going to do part 2, which is part 10, actually, but part 2 of this one. And I appreciate you taking a Mississippi Minute with me. You're the best. Mark Pattison has been my guest today. Mark, I love you, pal.
Definitely.
Go to markpattisonnfl.com. Get on his newsletter. His book's going to be coming out soon. He's an Emmy winner, him and Sports Illustrated, for just an incredible journey to climbing all 7 summits. His podcast is incredible as well. His Instagram, Superior Catfish, also very, very, very incredible. And you'll never feel uncomfortable cooking that up. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip with your loved ones. Mark, it won't be long. He'll be playing Dancing Rabbit at Pearl River Resort with me. I promise you he will fall in love with the azaleas and the oaks, and there's no looking back. We'll see you later. Blessings.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.